Hello everyone, welcome to Everything Arsenal. Back for another live stream as always every Monday to Friday during the transfer window. We'll be doing this throughout the 5 days and on weekends if there's any news at all. But today, let's discuss the latest on Gyokeres, on Sesko, on Jorrel Hato, and also the latest on Fabio Vieira. We haven't really talked about him that much. Now, the transfer window reopens on Monday, so I don't think anything concrete will happen over the weekend, but hopefully we do get some news. In terms of maybe a bid or something, if it is allowed, but let's see how it goes. But first, let's get to the latest on Gyokeres. So this is what Record Portugal reported yesterday. Breaking, Arsenal have submitted their first official bid for Viktor Gyokeres, 55 million euros plus 10 million in add-ons. The offer was made during a meeting yesterday. Sporting are expected to reject it. So if that is accurate, that will be 65 million euros total package. But according to reports from Portugal, it is expected to be rejected. So we discussed this in length yesterday. We talked about Gyokeres and Sporting having a disagreement. Basically, they were saying last year that, hey, play for us one more season. Next season, we'll let you go for around 65, 67 million pounds. And the player was like, okay, fine, gentleman's agreement. Let's hope that will happen next season. But from what we are hearing is that right now, basically Sporting have switched their tone and they're like, nope, we're not going to accept 65 million. We want up to 80, 85 million euros. So this has been reported from Portugal that we have made a bid of 55 million plus 10 million in add-ons. I don't think there's a chance that they're going to accept this. If there's an actual bid like this, they're not going to accept this. 55 million and then 10 million later in add-ons, and the add-ons are usually not guaranteed. It's up until you meet a few things, some targets and some achievements. That's when the 10 million will be added, whether it's in terms of appearances, it's in terms of goals and all that. Arsenal winning a trophy, the 10 million is not guaranteed, but the 55 million is guaranteed. So 65 million in total for Gyokeres, that is too little, but reports from Portugal say that we've made that bid after the meeting yesterday. Sorry, I've been eating all over the place and I'm choking all over the place. Sorry, even my inner body cannot believe the news anyway. But yes, I still don't know who we are going to get. Are we going to get Gyokeres? Are we going to get Sesko? Absolutely no idea. Absolutely no idea who you're going to get between these two. But as of now, we are being told that Arsenal are making bids for Gyokeres. We are having meetings with him. We are not sure about the deal with Sesko. Leipzig are making it a bit complicated. It's a complicated deal. For any of them, whoever we are going to get, it's very complicated. I don't know who the hell we are going to get between the two, but let's wait and see. But that is the latest report on Gyokeres. I would absolutely love Gyokeres. I've already told you guys, Gyokeres was always my favorite, not just this year, even last season when we were doing debates on Isaac or Gyokeres. I chose Gyokeres several times because I feel like he's such a good player, not just in terms of the goals, also because he gets so many assists and he gets involved in many plays, and the fact that he's played in England before for Coventry in the Championship, not an easy league to play in. I really like Gyokeres. So if you do end up with him, I think many Arsenal fans would be happy. But as of now, we still don't know who we are going to get. Now, I hopefully by next week we do get a better idea of who you're going to get, because I don't think any of this will carry all the way to July. Because whoever you choose to get, you have to get them right now. Because Leipzig wants deals to be done quickly. I think the Sporting one with Gyokeres will be a bit complicated because of the disagreement between the two parties plus the agent. But if you take too long on Gyokeres, you'll probably go to a different team. If you take too long on Sesko, it's going to go to a different team. I guess it's a matter of I think there's still a bit of conflict there. We're still trying to decide who you're going to get between the two because of the wages and the fee. Arsenal is trying to decide, or trying to wait and see how much Gyokeres is going to cost. So basically what I think could also happen is maybe Arsenal are ready to pay 70 million for Sesko, but they also wanted Gyokeres, but Sporting have told them, listen, we want 80 million. So Arsenal are like, no, we're just going to go for Sesko. But now that Gyokeres has a few issues with Sporting and his agent and him, they're saying, you guys agreed on 65 million and 60 million. You said you're going to allow me to leave for around 60 million. Maybe Arsenal have decided to just wait and say, okay, listen, if you can get Gyokeres for 60 million and Sesko for 70, when we thought we were going to get Gyokeres for 80, let's just wait a couple of more weeks and see whether Sporting end up saying, okay, fine, give us 60 million, and then you go for Gyökeres. No one really knows what is happening behind the scenes. That's what I'm guessing. I'm also thinking there's a few people in the Arsenal camp that want Gyökeres and a few others that want Sesko, so it could be like 50-50. At the end of the day, though, we are going to probably get whoever Partey and Arteta want more than anyone else in the camp. Although we've heard before that Arteta really takes a lot of advice from his coaches as well. He doesn't just make those decisions by himself. So let's wait and see. But that's the latest on Gyökeres. Now let's talk about Benjamin Sesko. What's the latest on him? According to Fabrizio Romano, contacts between Leipzig, Sesko's camp, and Arsenal have been ongoing now for 2 weeks. But as of today, no agreement between clubs or with the player. Last week, there was some really concrete and strong contact to advance. There's still work to do. So both deals complicated. The one for Gyökeres, I think now we have to wait and see what happens between him and the team, because they have a few issues going on there. No one has made a bid for any of these two players at the moment, by the way. There's no one who's made a bid for Gyökeres. No one has made a bid for Sesko. We've had Man United want Gyökeres, but there's not been any bid. We've had Liverpool want Sesko, no bid. Man United Gyökeres, Arsenal Gyökeres, and Sesko. We've had that a couple of other teams want these players as well, like Chelsea, but no one has made a bid yet. So especially the Gyökeres one, I think it's going to be a waiting game. Whoever is going to get Gyökeres, I think it's going to be a waiting game. You wait until they fall out completely, until that money drops to 50 million, and then you go for him. That will probably be the case for Gyökeres. And then Sesko is also complicated, so both of them will be interesting. So, according to Fabrizio, contacts between Leipzig, Sesko's camp, and Arsenal have been ongoing now for 2 weeks, but as of today, no agreements between clubs or with the player. So again, that will also carry forward. I don't know which one is easier to do. I don't know which one is more complicated to do, because both are difficult. Gyökeres and supporting have problems, and with Sesko, basically Leipzig have asked for a lot of money, from starting with 50-60, they're now asking for 80-90. It's a lot of money, so even him, it's going to be complicated. So I think it's going to be a waiting game. We don't know where the Gyökeres story has come from, whether it's coming from the agent, whether it's coming from the team themselves, whether it's coming from Arsenal. It could be coming from any of them. Maybe Arsenal really wants Sesko, but Leipzig are playing a hard game, and Arsenal have decided to do what? Let's just pretend we want Gyökeres, and let's pretend we're going to buy Gyökeres, so that Leipzig panic and maybe reduce the money for Sesko. That could be something. Maybe Arsenal really want Gyökeres, but they're making it look like they really want Sesko, so that Sporting drop the money for Gyökeres. That could be a thing as well. I guess it's all about mind games. So for Andrea Bat, I'm just going to wait and see how he does this transfer window. I cannot say anything about how he's doing his business 1 week into the transfer window. Let's just wait and see how he's going to play this. But as I've always said on every single live show, it has to work. Whoever we get between these two, it simply has to work, because we are desperate for a striker. So, and because we messed up last season, we cannot mess up again. So whoever we get between the two, it has to be the best signing. It has to work out for us on the pitch, off the pitch, in terms of goals, in terms of finances. Hopefully we don't pay anyone too much money and then we end up regretting it. Hopefully we don't end up buying one and then the other one goes and blows up wherever they go. Let's just hope whoever we sign, it works out. So let's wait and see whether there's going to be any more news in the two of them over the weekend. Let's see. Let's talk about Jorrel Hato. There's only like 4 or 5 pieces of news today, so we'll get through them very quickly today. It won't be a very, very long stream. Team News and Tick says it's more than phone calls to understand the situation. As we know, Andrea Bata works on multiple deals at a time, and when Arsenal were talking to Dean House, then they were also talking to Jorrel Hato and his camp. At the moment, it's not clear on how the situation will play out. The player's camp is unsure he will get the minutes he needs and is mulling over the opportunity. This is made complicated by Chelsea being interested, and there will likely be more minutes available for him there. Yeah, in terms of minutes, Jorrel Hato is not going to start at Arsenal. At Chelsea, he probably starts. They might sell Fofana, is injured anyway. They are going to sell Disasi, Badiashile might be sold, and a few others at Chelsea. At Arsenal, you're not going to play, especially Gabriel. Gabriel did an interview yesterday, I think he did a podcast or something yesterday, and he said he's going to be ready for the start of the season, or he's going to be ready for preseason. So that is very good news. That is what Gabriel feels. He feels like he's going to be ready for preseason. So that will mean he's going to be ready to start next season. Now, if he's ready and Kivio starts, I put a poll on YouTube yesterday. Let me see. Earlier today. Let's see what the votes are saying. I asked you guys, would you definitely keep Kivio, or would you let him go for good money? 50 million, 60 million, not 60 million, sorry. 25 million, 35 million, 45 million, 50 around there. Which one would you let him go for if you want him to be sold? Let me see where the votes are. So far, 800 votes from morning. 73% say we must keep Kivio. 14% say sell if it's more than 35 million. 9% say sell for 30 to 35, and 5% say 25 to 30. So if you haven't voted, go to the community posts on the channel on YouTube, and then you can vote for if you want Kivio to definitely stay, or would you sell him for a certain amount of money. Now, I bring that up because you're talking about a defender. If Kivio stays and Gabriel is fit for the start of the season, Gabriel is definitely staying. He signed a new contract. Where will Jorrel Hato play? Unless we move Kivio to the right side to help Saliba on that side, and then have Hato next to Gabriel. Now, either way, Jorrel Hato is not going to play too many games. So what we are telling him here is you're going to come and be a backup to Gabriel and Saliba as well, but you're not going to play every single game. And we also have Kivio, and then we also have Timber who can play there. We also have Ben White who can play there. We have Calafiori who's an actual centre back as well. So you're not going to play every single game. But I do think we definitely need a defender because of the injuries. Now, if Gabriel is fit for the start of preseason, and Ben White is looking sharp in preseason, and Timber recovers in time for preseason as well, and Calafiori starts preseason well without any injury scares, and Lewis Kelly is always good, if Kivio ends up staying, that is fine. But again, we can't really trust in that because we don't know how long Calafiori will be without another injury. We don't know if Ben White is going to stay long without another injury. Timber as well. We have to wait and see. We don't know how Gabriel will recover from his 4 months out. I do think we need a defender. Doesn't have to be right now. We can get a defender last in July, August, something, as long as we get a defender because of the injuries. If everyone was fit, I don't think we'd need a defender, but we have too many injuries defensively, unfortunately. We have so many good defenders. If everyone is fit, I think us will have the best defense in the world, even if you combine best defenders together. I think Arsenal will still be number one, because if you have Gabriel and Saliba and Timber, and then you have Lewis Kelly, and then Calafiori, and then Ben White, and then Kivio, and then Tomiyasu, if every one of them is fit, yeah, I don't think anyone would have a better defense than us. But the problem is Tomiyasu is never there. Calafiori hasn't really been there last season, and Calafiori is very good going forward. The goals he scored for us last season. You look at Lewis Kelly, the kind of energy, the way Lewis Kelly wins fouls. Even watching England the other day, the way Lewis Kelly gets the ball and wins his team a foul, he's so good at that. The turning and everything, and we know Gabriel and Saliba and Timber. If Timber can also stay, I don't want Timber to play 38 games out of 38 like season like he's done this past season. No, Timber has to be rested a few games. Last season he had to play that because Ben White wasn't there. But defender, I do think we will need a defender, but doesn't have to be immediately in the transfer window. And Chelsea do want him. Chelsea always want everyone that Arsenal wants as well. But let's see. Depends on how much Jorrel Hato will be. The first time we wanted Jorrel Hato, he was going to cost around 50 million. But as of now, hopefully it's less than that. Let's hope that it's going to be less than that. If that's the case, then it is worth it. But that's the latest on Jorrel Hato. Let's talk about Fabio Vieira. We haven't talked about Fabio Vieira in a long time. According to Jordan Davies, Porto have been left resigned to the fact they won't sign Fabio Vieira. There was no buy clause in loan deal, and they can't afford him. Arsenal don't want to loan again. He's also expected to be excluded from our preseason. Wow, this is interesting. So Arsenal do not want to keep Fabio Vieira, but Porto cannot sign Fabio Vieira. So what happens to Fabio Vieira then? Again, let me put a question for you guys in the chat. Are you thinking about keeping Fabio Vieira? Would you like Fabio Vieira to stay at Arsenal, or you don't want him at all? What happens? Do you want us to keep him? And if you want to sell him, how much should we sell Fabio Vieira for? Because you're not going to get that much money. Let me check once again. Let me check how long Fabio Vieira has on his contract. Let me just check here. Let's see. Because if he's not going to be included in our preseason tour, where is Fabio Vieira? Fabio Vieira. Fabio Vieira's contract expires in 2027, so he still has 2 years to go. He's 24 years of age. I don't know how much we were paying him in terms of salary. But yeah, it's looking, are we going to loan him again? What do they say here? Arsenal don't want to loan again. So Arsenal want to sell Fabio Vieira, but is there anyone who's going to buy Fabio Vieira? So we signed, how much was Fabio Vieira signed for? It was a lot of money. Was it like 42 million or am I dreaming? I think Fabio Vieira signed for like 42 million. Let me see if I know my transfers. Let's just confirm here. Fabio Vieira. No. It was add-ons. Let's see. Photo. 35 million euros plus 5 million in add-ons. Okay, so yeah, we bought him for 40 million euros, but in pounds, that is around 34 million pounds. I remember it being something like 42 million euros at that point. But yeah, 40 million euros, around 34 million pounds. So we bought Fabio Vieira for 34 million pounds. But yeah, we're not going to get 34 million for Vieira. During the time at Arsenal for the 2 seasons, he only played 49 games. So yeah, Arsenal don't want to keep Fabio Vieira. So what happens with him? And you don't want to loan him as well. But FC Porto do not want to keep him too. So we have to sell him. If that is the case, we have to sell him. So how much should we be getting for Fabio Vieira? And if there's no one who wants him, should we just keep him at Arsenal? But where does he play? Because at the moment, if you ask every Arsenal fan wants a striker. Some want 2 strikers. Every Arsenal fan wants a winger. Some want 2 wingers, both left side and right side. Some Arsenal fans want an attacking midfielder. Some people want someone else to come and replace Odegaard and have Odegaard on the bench. And Nwaneri is still there. Trossard is still an Arsenal player. Martinelli is still an Arsenal player. Obviously, Havertz is still there. Merino is still there. Rice is still there in the number 8 position. So where does Fabio Vieira fit in? Fabio Vieira is supposed to be the backup for Odegaard. But I don't know. I think in terms of physicality, he just didn't fit the Premier League. There's a point where he played really well. I think it was the beginning of 23-24 season when he assisted Jesus against Man United. I think he assisted Kepa against Fulham. He looked very sharp during that period. That season I actually predicted him to be the most improved player or something, or the surprise of the season, but he ended up leaving a few months later or something. So Fabio Vieira is another interesting one. I don't think we know exactly who's going to stay. Fabio Vieira, we are not sure. Thomas Partey, unfortunately, we're not sure. Today is Thomas Partey's birthday, by the way. He's turning 32 today. We don't know whether Partey is going to stay at Arsenal. We don't know where Martinelli is going to be next season. We don't know what is going to happen with Zinchenko as well. There's a lot of decisions that still have to be made, man. So it's going to be a busy transfer window. I know it's been a bit quiet the first 2 weeks, but yeah, it can't be quiet for the rest of it. There's so many things that we need to do. There's loan players we need to sort out. Nelson is going to come back. Are we going to sell him? What is going to happen to him? How much money are we going to get for them? Goalkeeper-wise, when is Kepa going to be signed? What is going to happen to Setford and all these guys? There's still a lot that you're going to have to decide on. But yeah, that's the latest on Fabio Vieira. Personally, he's not one high on my list to keep. If we could sell him and get good money for, that is okay. But we've also said that we need someone to back up Odegaard. But is Fabio Vieira the guy that we want? I don't know. I wouldn't mind it if we didn't get anyone else to buy in that position to give Odegaard competition. I wouldn't mind to try Vieira again up until January. And then if it doesn't work out, you can try and sell him at that point. Because if no one is going to buy him right now and Arsenal don't want to loan him and you're not going to include him in the preseason, then what's the case? What's the idea? What's the plan for him? Personally, I would take him for preseason and see how he does. I remember he scored our penalty to win the last Community Shield that we got. He's the one who scored the penalty. Very good penalty, actually. But yeah, speaking of preseason, just a quick update. According to Arsenal fixtures, I'm told there's going to be an Emirates Cup this season. I believe it will be August 9th or 10th. It's dependent on the Community Shield date, kickoff time. Also, like last season, don't be surprised to see a second preseason friendly at the Emirates. So if you're interested in the preseason games, we are going to play Newcastle I don't know which one is which. I know Singapore and Hong Kong, but I don't know who we are playing where. I think it might be Tottenham in Hong Kong or something. But yeah, we are playing Tottenham, Newcastle. Tottenham, Newcastle. Is it AC Milan? Tottenham, Newcastle, AC Milan in preseason, I think, yeah. And then we are going to play. Not too many fixtures this time. The last 2 years, we've had a lot of preseason fixtures. Last season, we had 2 at the Emirates. We played Leverkusen and then we played Lyon in the Emirates Cup. So we might have 2 more fixtures in preseason. No Community Shield for us this year. So let's see how that one goes as well. But that's just a quick fixture update. And yeah, we are playing Newcastle and Tottenham both in preseason. That is interesting because we don't like both of those teams. But yeah, just a quick recap of what we've discussed so far for the 200 of you watching on all platforms. Breaking, this is according to Record Portugal. Arsenal have submitted their first official bid for Viktor Gyokeres. 55 million plus 10 million in add-ons, so that is a package of 65 million euros. The offer was made during a meeting yesterday. Sporting are expected to reject it, so Sporting were never going to accept that. Sporting are talking about wanting something like 80 or 85 million. So anyone who wants Gyokeres, you're going to have to go and pay that money right now, or you're going to have to wait until Gyokeres and Sporting sort out their issues, and hopefully they drop the money, and then you go for him. But as soon as Gyokeres' money drops to like 60 million, yeah, there's a lot of teams that are going to say they're interested in him. So we'll see at that point who is going to get him. I have said before that I wouldn't be surprised if he stays at Sporting, but the way things are going doesn't look like they're getting along. Now, Gyokeres himself posted on Instagram yesterday, on Instagram stories, and said, don't believe everything you're seeing outside in the news. So I don't know if it's something to do with Man United or something to do with Arsenal, or just something to do with Sporting basically saying, Gyokeres and his agent are doing this and that. He said he's going to say the truth one day. So I guess it's something to do with Sporting basically not following the gentleman's agreement from last year with him and his agent. So let's see. Sesko, contacts between Leipzig, Sesko's camp, and Arsenal have been ongoing now for 2 weeks. But as of today, no agreement between clubs or with the player. Last week, there was some really concrete and strong contact to advance. There is still work to do. That is according to Fabrizio Romano. So the Sesko and Gyokeres saga continues. I'm not lying. It always does feel like Arsenal are involved in 1 or 2 sagas every transfer. And even the Calafiori one, it took such a long time before it got Calafiori. It took such a long time before it got Merino. It took such a long time before we got Declan Rice and many others. It always takes a long time, and it's Arsenal. And this one specifically, yeah, this one is going to take a long time, guys. I know we always talk about being tired of being patient. Yeah, but this one we have to be really patient. I don't know who we are going to get between the two. Again, hopefully whoever we get, it works. Team News and Tixo said it's more than phone calls to understand the situation. This is according to, regarding Jorrel Hato. As we know, Andrea Berta works on multiple deals at a time. And when Arsenal were talking to Dean Housen, they were also talking to Jorrel Hato and his camp. At the moment, it's not clear on how the situation will play out. The player's camp is unsure he will get the minutes he needs and is mulling over the opportunity. This is made complicated by Chelsea being interested in him, and there will likely be more minutes available for him there. So Jorrel Hato, he is linked to Arsenal. We've mentioned 2 defenders. I haven't heard us being linked to too many defenders. It's just Jorrel Hato and Gay. I think Gay will be too expensive. I don't think you're going to go for Gay. Gay is the kind of player you'd only sign if someone like a Gabriel had moved on, if you want someone to replace your actual starting centre backs. But for a backup, you can't go and pay 60 million for Gay. So Jorrel Hato is the only one. If Jorrel Hato goes to a different team, I've not heard about any of the defenders we want. So I guess it's going to be a very, very late signing in the transfer window. Finally, we've talked about Fabio Vieira and Porto not being able to afford him, and Arsenal don't want to loan him, but we're also not going to include him in preseason. So where will Fabio Vieira be? I am sure he has traveled with, I saw him on a plane with FC Porto going to America for the Club World Cup. So he is going to be part of that, but you're not sure whether he's going to play. So that's the latest in today's news. Let's see the comments. Tactical, how are you, bro? He says, I believe that Gyokeres' bid is nonsense. We are after Sesko, which is a joke. Gyokeres should be the top priority. I don't think we can say Which one is true though? It's yeah, I do believe Arsenal wants Sesko more. But again, I think it's also transfers are very complicated. I would definitely want to be in one of those rooms to just hear what they talk about. It could be any of this. So it could be Arsenal pretending to make a bid for Gyökeres so that Sesko's price is reduced, so that you can get Sesko, and Leipzig panic that the only team that wants Sesko are going to go for Gyökeres instead. That could be the case. It could be Gyökeres' agent himself using Arsenal's name, saying Arsenal have made a bid so that I don't know, Sporting do something, or different teams come in for him, trying to get Gyökeres the best offer. That is also a possibility. It could also be we think Arsenal want Sesko, but they actually want Gyökeres more, and we are using Sesko as a way to get Gyökeres. We just don't know which one is the truth. I think we'll get to know it. Even if we get one of them, I don't know if we won't know whether that was the first choice or not. Even if we get Gyökeres today, I don't think any of us can say, okay, this was the second option or this was the first option. We wouldn't really know unless they tell us. Sadford will go on loan if we sign Kepa. Doesn't have to be. I think Carline is the one who's going to go. Sadford can remain as a third choice goalkeeper because he also can play for the under-21s, but possible. Mubarak says Vieira let him go at any price because at Arsenal no space for him. Any price, Mubarak, even if it's 5 million, you're going to sell him. Tactical says Vieira, what a waste of money. What were we doing with this signing? Stupid decision. Vitinha was right there beside him. Yeah, Vitinha would have been incredible. Yeah, but the Vitinha that was at Wolves was not the same one that was in PSG. Vitinha was not this good when he was at Wolves. I guess players go and improve, but yeah, if you look at that, you're like, oh my goodness, Joao Neves was young at that time, maybe 17 or something, would have gone for him. Maybe Vitinha would have been an option. I think at that time he also wanted Ruben Neves from Wolves and those kind of players. But yeah, at that point, I remember people are celebrating that we've gotten Vieira, but yeah, you just never know what is going to happen. Good afternoon. Thanks for the good job. I'm a fan of you from Sierra Leone, says Osman. Thank you for being here. Good day to you too, Tiga. Nice to have you online again. Good evening, Lopier. He says, good evening. Our problem is we talk too much, but we can't buy finished deals faster. Kikombi says, Gyökeres very good at Gilmore. Sesko also able to search ball from deep and field. Again, whoever we get, hopefully it works. It has to be one of them, surely. Because if Sesko goes to a different team and Gyökeres go to a different team, I don't know who's the third option. Watkins is the third option. But yeah, if we end up getting Watkins, I think very many people will be disappointed after hearing about Gyökeres and Sesko and all these guys. Can I have Mikeleto's phone number? Says Wisdom. I think there's a good reason why they don't give away their phone numbers. I'm confused. Are we getting both Gyökeres and Sesko help? No, I don't think you're going to get both of them. Good evening. I don't know what our management is doing. Is our transfer and we are just trying to sign today. We'd still try tomorrow. Also, I'm fed up. Let's go for one and buy it. Let's go for one and buy. Says the name has disappeared. Says Baki. Good afternoon, guys. I sure keep it up. Thank you, Alex. Malek says, the way our transfer has been slow, I don't think whether it has demanded much from the owners. Andrea Berta and Atsa should have been crystal clear to the management that they need quality players this transfer market. I think we should go for Sesko. He's more a complete player than Gyökeres. Says Marvelous. We must keep Kivio, says Coco. For me, Kivio is a must keep if you're serious to achieve something, says Solomon. Yeah, defenders like that don't come too easily. And I wanted Kivio to stay even before those games against Real Madrid and all those guys, because I've always said I don't think you can get a player like that who plays regularly for his country. And he's played for us in 3 different positions the last 3 seasons, and he never complains as well. And on top of that, has Kivio even picked up an injury? He's always fit as well. He's another player who's always fit. He's never injured at all. So that is a good thing too. All that is, unless he really wants to leave, I'd really be trying to keep him. And if they even think of selling him, I'm not kidding. I'm looking at 40 million plus. Because Arsenal have never been a good team in terms of selling. Many years. We can go back to all the way to 2006. And let's go to 2012 and look at Van Persie going for like 20 million. Disaster. Alexis Sanchez left Arsenal for free. Aaron Ramsey, he was our best player for like 2 seasons, left Arsenal for free. Ozil, like for 3-4 years, incredible in terms of assists, ended up leaving Arsenal for free. Aubameyang, free. Lacazette, free. Cazorla, free. We can go on and go on and go on. How many players we've had that have left for free? And then you look at a team like Liverpool, they sell players who never played. There's a defender at Liverpool called Van der something or something like that. They want to sell him for like 30 million. We've never had him. Callagher, the second choice goalkeeper, is moved to Brentford for a lot of money. So why can't we always also do that? So that's another thing I'm hoping Bata can do good as well. If we end up selling players like Kivio, is an international player, go and get 40 million. You saw the post that we put up yesterday. His numbers recently, incredible. Once again, most tackles in a game, most interceptions, most whatever, and he even scored a goal for Poland the other day. So there's that. Mubarak says, Mr. Glenn Big also indicated that Arsenal preparing to submit second bid. I've not heard anything about a second bid, so let's just wait and see. Emerson says Vieira to be sold 10 to 15 million. Still sounds too little, man. Can't we get like at least 20 million? Why is Arsenal always getting this very, very, that's little. That's a lot of loss in like 3 years. That's a big loss. When will our savior come back? Gabriel Jesus says, Edu, Gabriel Jesus is injured until like December. So yeah, we're not going to see Jesus and Tomiyasu for half of next season as well. Only 2 defenders Arsenal should phase out, Zinchenko and Tin. Tin is already a Celtic player. Zinchenko, I think Zinchenko, there's a big chance he's going to leave. I think if Tomiyasu wasn't injured, there's a big chance he would have been moved out. But because he's injured, maybe January we could see Tomiyasu moving on loan or something. Moshe says, for me, Fabio Vieira stays. Javita says Fabio Vieira should go for another loan to FC Porto. Yeah, but Arsenal say they don't want to loan him again. They want to sell him. No need of keeping him, sell him, maybe 15 to 25. Yeah, 20, I'd be happy with it, David. How are you? Gunnar Matters, nice seeing you, my friend. Hopefully everything is going well. Your name is also Glenn. Gunnar Matters' name is also Glenn. Yusuf says instead, loan him out despite we didn't have any number 10 to compete with Odegaard. That should be Nwaneri. I'm hoping Nwaneri gets more chances in that spot. Odegaard, when Odegaard got injured, boom, that was when he lost the league. Yeah, it's just crazy. And I don't know who made that decision. That thing of letting Vieira, Nelson, Smith Rowe, and Nketiah all go, and we only signed Sterling to replace all 4 of them. And basically, there's a point we didn't use Sterling at all. So we basically sold 4 players and didn't have anyone to replace them. That was criminal. Man City made a similar mistake, but they're making it right now. They're buying everyone that they can get. So you have to make that right. It's also bad luck. I guess they looked at it and thought Odegaard never gets injured. And it's also painful that these players never even got injured at Arsenal. They got injured for their countries and all that. But yeah, that time we really suffered. That time when Odegaard was out, we really suffered. And then he came back and wasn't himself for like 4 months. That was painful. Get both Sesko and Gyokeres, says Marcin. Should we either of them? Mikel has to get it right here. Either of them, whoever we get, it has to work out. Gyokeres, Sesko, it has to work out. Ronnie says Nusa is good. Is he the winger for Norway, right? That's the guy who plays with Haaland and Odegaard, right? I think his name is Nusa. I've never watched him playing for his club, but I've watched him playing for his country a lot of times. It looks very good. But again, Ronnie, I try to look at a lot. I'm looking at 1, 2, 3 games. I'm not sure. I have to look for him like for a full season and see how he does. Getting either that one, Vieira, let's sell him. If not, loan him again, says Joseph. I think, but Sesko Gyokeres would be a good deal, man. Either of them, says Mark. Vieira, 25 million still in Portugal, says Morgie. Hopefully you guys can hear me. Internet is going up and down. Amer says Gyokeres is the best for Arsenal. V says Glenn, between Sesko and Gyokeres, who is better? I've always wanted Gyokeres for the last 1.5 years, so I think that goal scoring is crazy. Some people say Sesko is a more complete player because he can do other things like pick up the ball in midfield and dribble past players, run past players, play on the wing sometimes. Maybe Gyokeres can't do that. But what we are looking for here is someone who can score goals mainly. That's the main thing that we want. I know I'm actually a big advocate of getting a striker who can also assist and all that. If you are to ask me, do you prefer a striker who's going to get you 40 goals and 40 goals and get you 30 goals and 10 assists? I rather have the one that is going to get you 30 goals and 10 assists. That's the one I would prefer. Joseph says, Glenn, whoever we get, they need to perform. Comments are not clicking. Let's sell him for 20 or less, says Joseph. What is happening in transfer? Says choose the transfer that kind about Tomiyasu, says Ado. Tomiyasu is injured, so we're not going to hear anything about him until December. Please, my brother, really need to sign this guy, Viktor Gyokeres. Arsenal have money, but our management are just stingy. Good afternoon, says Anthony. Thanks so much for your work. Anthony Gordon. Anthony Gordon, that's your name? No way. If your name is Anthony Gordon, that is so cool. From Sierra Leone. Kiva is a must keep, says Joseph. Nus is a very good winger. Yeah, there's a goal he scored the other day against Italy. It was incredible. I watched their matches. He even scores that day. Yeah, if you're talking about the one for Italy where they won 3-0, he was incredible, the goal he scored. We need a player who can come and perform immediately, says Joseph. Yeah, that is what we need. We are desperate to win something for sure, so we need someone who's going to hit the ground running right away. How are you doing, RK? Let's see. We need to get Victor. I can go. I guess you mean I can't go another year without trophies. So many of you are saying Gyokeres. That's a good one, Ado, by the way. Nusa, I haven't really had anyone suggesting Nusa, but yeah, I've watched him a couple of times for Norway. He's good on that left side. And maybe together with Odegaard, they're going to be good. Morgi says, for me, I would go Lookman and Nusa if Rodrygo didn't happen and Martinelli left. Yeah, if Rodrygo didn't happen, then you can't really let Martinelli go. Then again, all of a sudden, you need two wingers. We can't get ourselves in that position. Silvano says, let's sell Vieira at any price. Not any price. I want to see if you're going to sell someone, you're going to get enough money for them. My name is Anthony Gordon for sure. Nice. That's a really, really top name. Do you play left wing like him? RK says, please subscribe and smash the like button. Thank you for that, RK. Let's sell him for 20 or less. The whole comment section stopped, so I don't know which comments I missed and which ones I read. I don't know if I read this one. Javita says Vieira should go to FC Porto for another loan. Yeah, we had Keep Kivia here. Alex is a situation of Sesko. Just talked about him. So yeah, it's another complicated situation. And Christopher says, good afternoon. Good afternoon to you. It always, the truth is, it always does feel like Arsenal is, it's very sometimes painful. I mean, I always wonder, you see the way, I don't want us to do business like Chelsea in those teams. But you know, there's transfer windows where Chelsea buy like 15 players. And when you look at the Chelsea channels and their Twitter accounts, you always see them talking about a different player every single day. But with Arsenal, we always talk about the same player for like a month. It's Arsenal. I've been supporting this team since 2004. Yeah, this is how it's always been. Even Arshavin, the time we signed Arshavin, it took a long time as well. And that is all the way back in 2009. It always takes time with Arsenal. Always takes time. I prefer Sesko to Gyokeres, says Baxter. Interesting. There's still few people who are saying they prefer Sesko to Gyokeres. I just hope we get a striker, man. We really need a striker. It's been so long since we got a striker as well. So look at how exciting getting Aubameyang was. Aubameyang came in and started scoring goals right away before Wenger left and Emre joined, and Aubameyang kept on scoring goals. Atita came in, Aubameyang kept on scoring goals. Rodrygo, any update? Not today. Kikumbi, haven't had anything about Rodrygo today at all. Cese says, hello, Glenn. We can even buy both Victor and Benjamin if the case may be, because the time Victor will be 30-31. Viktor Gyokeres will be 30-31. Benjamin would be 25 years. So even if we release Victor, we will still have Benjamin. Makes sense. Alman from Sierra Leone. There's a point, back in the day, but yeah, I know teams used to play with 2 strikers back in the day. Arsenal, we had 4 strikers, man. We had Wiltord and Kanu and Bergkamp and Henry. And before that, we had players like Ian Wright and, who am I forgetting? Ian Wright. Kanu was there. Kanu was there in the 90s. There's someone I'm forgetting. I don't know. I'm forgetting someone. Yeah, there's also a few other strikers that didn't play that much. But we had 4 strikers in the team, especially when you had Wiltord, Kanu, Thierry Henry, and Bergkamp. Four strikers. Even Man United had the same with Solskjaer and Sheringham and Cole and York. That's a lot. That's a lot of strikers. These days, it always feels like teams only have 1. It would be great to have 2, Alman. Chuzu says, Glenn, I'm scared. Look at what Liverpool and Man City are doing. Yeah, it's definitely worrying. You have to, if we come out of this transfer window and we have the best transfer window of any team, we've done something crazy. Because if you look at the Man City transfer window right now, Reinders, 8 Nori, and Nipan and Shirky. And I don't think Man City are done. I think they're still going to get someone else. And Liverpool with Vats and Frimpong. A lot of pressure on Vats, though. He has to deliver. If he doesn't deliver, that's a lot of money. But yeah, if we are going to beat those 2 transfer windows from those 2 teams, we are going to have to have a very, very big transfer window. Please let Arsenal get Rafa Leao, says Wisdom. Every season we are so close to winning, but yet so far away. Please, the board get us a strike and winger, says Joseph. Last season we really messed up, man. We finished 1 point behind Man City. That's when you should have gone and bought 3-4 top players right away, and you'd have won the league last season. We messed up badly last season. I sat down again and looked at that transfer and I was like, that was crazy. We waited until the last day. We panicked and signed Sterling. We waited until the last day. We panicked and signed a goalkeeper who couldn't even play in the Carabao Cup because he had already played for Bournemouth. We signed Calafiori. I know at that point Lewis Kelly hadn't emerged, but we signed Calafiori. Basically didn't even really use him because he was injured most of the season and Lewis Kelly emerged. And Merino also did not really end up starting games until he helped us as a striker from February to May. Yes, we can say Merino is one of the players that helped us get into the Champions League semi-final, but that would mean we only really signed 1 player who was going to start games for us from February to May. So last season we basically didn't sign anyone. So that was crazy. Any striker we signed out of the 2 is good deal then. I kind of agree. And Jamie, I'm also kind of looking at it that way because we just don't have a striker. So I'm just saying, surely Sesko and Gyokeres are better than whoever we have in terms of scoring goals. Anthony says, I appreciate your good job, bro. I appreciate it. I follow your program every single day. Thanks so much for your job. Thank you, Anthony Gordon. Hi, Glenn. Arsenal understood to be preparing a second bid of around 59.5 million to 70. Do you think Sporting will accept that? Nope. I think they want something like 80. That's a lot. That's a lot. Unless they really push for a move. And if they start pushing for a move, it's not going to be done right now. We are talking about July. And we need players before preseason. I think our first preseason game is 20-something July. But before that, we usually have behind closed doors games. Good evening, James. How are you? So that's the latest news from today. I don't think there's going to be any video today because I don't think there's any more news unless something comes out. But as always, this live show, Monday to Friday, as always, if something happens, you're going to be going live anytime over the weekend. But yeah, that's the latest news on Gyokeres, on Sesko, on Fabio Vieira and Jorrel Hato, and the fixtures in terms of the Emirates Cup. Thank you for watching. Make sure to get on YouTube and vote in the Kivio poll. I'll catch up with you guys on the next one.